This was the funeral of a Catholic called Lachlan McGinn, held last August in County Down. His wife and young children were at home when he was shot there by loyalist terrorists. Lachlan McGinn was Northern Ireland's victim number 2,754. But his murder stands out from many others, first for the savagery that followed it. The hatred for Lachlan McGinn was so intense, his grave was even dug up.
The coffin lid was damaged, and the nameplate was removed, and the crucifix was removed.
Someone actually opened the coffin?
They tried to open the coffin. There was 2 screws missing out of it. And they tried to prise the lid of the coffin open and damaged it with spades. And it seemed to be in a frenzy.
How has that affected you?
Just devastated me. Broke my heart.
The more lasting controversy is that after Lachlan McGinn's murder, loyalist terrorists claim they had access to security force intelligence. This file, alleging he was an IRA suspect, was leaked to the terrorist group that claimed his murder. It was one of hundreds of intelligence documents that loyalists said they'd received from sympathizers within the army and police, and newspapers were deluged with copies to prove it. Confidential files were even plastered on walls in Belfast to challenge and embarrass John Stevens, the English police officer sent in to investigate the collusion affair. John Stevens, the Deputy Chief Constable for Cambridgeshire, and his team have been in Belfast since September. His report, due next month, is eagerly awaited by Catholics.
They say how impartial or how thorough the investigation will be.
Be totally impartial, I can assure you.
Catholic suspicions of collusion have had little proof until now.
These revelations that they were in collusion with the Protestant assassins, of course, is devastating, because the Catholic community say, well, who is going to protect us? And the answer some people might give to that is the Provision IRA, which is a total disaster.
Father Dennis Fall echoes the views of many moderate Catholics in Northern Ireland today.
Let us proclaim the mystery of faith.
He has fought hard to persuade his community to support constitutional politics rather than the IRA. The security forces are predominantly Protestant. Catholic confidence in these forces is at the heart of the policing problem in Northern Ireland, where the communities are so sharply divided.
If you don't have confidence in something, you have fear. And there is that fear presence amongst the Catholic nationalist people in Northern Ireland. And where you have fear, you have the best and the strongest breeding ground for terrorist activities.
But I agree with you. I agree with you that the confidence of the nationalist community in the security forces is of critical importance, and we attack it on a very broad front.
Catholics have, however, heard this kind of assurance from secretaries of state before. And their faith in the impartiality of the security forces is not likely to be restored by next month's report into the leaks affair by John Stevens. That report is expected to show that many of the leaks to loyalist terrorists have come from one branch of the security forces, in particular, the Ulster Defence Regiment. Panorama has conducted its own investigation into the UDR. And our investigation shows that the government's claim the regiment acts in an even-handed way isn't always borne out. Londonderry before Christmas. Once again, the loyalists were on the march, among them a few off-duty UDR men. Almost all UDR soldiers are Protestants, many from the loyalist working class. The right to march anywhere in Ulster is a sacred tenet of loyalism. But at this all-day affair, raw sectarian instincts were also on display. This parade reviles the memory of a British colonel called Lundy, who was prepared to do a deal with the Catholic army. 300 years on, and the loyalists still regard Lundy as a traitor to their cause. From this culture, a degree of collusion between UDR soldiers and secret terrorist groups that murder IRA suspects is perhaps inevitable. While in the UDR, this man was convicted of being a member of the most violent of the loyalist terrorist groups, the Ulster Volunteer Force, or UVF. He didn't want us to reveal his identity for fear of IRA reprisals.
By joining the UVF, I just looked on it as enabling me to play a further part in combating the IRA, or helping those men who were prepared to fight the IRA actively. I didn't feel disloyal in any sense to the UDR. I still felt a sense of pride of being in the UDR and in the UVF too. I think they were, to me anyway, they were two sides of the same coin. As a matter of principle, any information I got about Republicans, I made sure I passed it on to the UVF.
As a matter of principle?
As a matter of principle, yes. I think the Protestant people need to know who their enemies are.
Well, the flaw is their history.